on the case.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Designedcoma here. Welcome back. And the gameplay you're watching is me playing some Call of Duty Black Ops 3. So, what do we got for today's video? Well, I was kind of bouncing around in Reddit, looking for some stuff to maybe talk about in a future video, and I came across this one posting. It's about 2 years old. It was by Wolf Logic. I'll have a link in the description, so you can go check out the full posting and read some of the comments on this. But it has to do with the Mega Bloks Call of Duty toys that are marketed towards kids, and it was kind of the question of why is an M-rated game being marketed towards kids. And I'm not really going to talk about that, but what this posting made me think of is some of the things that was marketed towards myself as a kid when I was growing up. And the one thing that came to my mind that popped in my head first was candy cigarettes. Now, if anybody knows what I'm talking about as far as candied cigarettes are concerned, these were cigarettes or candy cigarettes that the packaging was designed to resemble actual cigarettes, actual packaged cigarettes. It didn't have the actual name on it like Marlboro or Pall Mall or anything like that, but the packaging was designed in a way to where it wasn't exactly the same, but it was pretty close to being the same. And you'll see what I'm talking about. I'll have a few photos, a few pics of cigarettes, of the candy cigarettes coming into the video here and there. But it really got me to thinking about some, the things that I grew up with when I was a kid. And candy cigarettes was the first thing that popped in my head. Now, my father was a smoker too. My aunt was a smoker, so I had both influences. I also had, my father there, and my aunt smoked, and there were a few other people that smoked in the family, but it really had an influence as to me when I started to smoke in my very early teens. It wasn't really necessarily a bunch of peer pressure of friends smoking, but it was really it really had a lot to do with my father, my aunt. The candied cigarettes had a role in it as well, because it just really made you feel like you were smoking cigarettes. And there's one package that says "just like Dad" on it. Now, there were times where I had these candied cigarettes and we'd be out somewhere and I had them in my pocket, just like Dad. If we went to a wedding or something where I had to wear like a suit jacket or something, it was in my inside pocket, just like Dad. I'd sit there with these candied cigarettes in between my fingers, smoking it like a cigarette, even though it wasn't really lit, but just like Dad, doing just like an adult would do with a cigarette. And it had this little red tip on the end of it too, so it looked like it was lit, but it really wasn't, so you could sit there, just like Dad or Mom or your Aunt Tessie or Uncle Jojo smoking a cigarette. You could feel just like a real adult person, much older than you really were. Now, I got to thinking, did this really have an effect as to whether or not, kids would grow up to be former smokers? Now, I know I grew up to be a former smoker. My father smoked. I played with these candied cigarettes. So I did a little digging and I found an article on a study that was done. And basically what they found is that the candied cigarettes desensitize kids and open them up to the idea of smoking later on. Basically giving you the idea that, it's not so bad. I mean, these are candied cigarettes. There's nothing wrong with these, and I can't even remember how long I was eating these candy cigarettes. I mean, they tasted really good. There's no doubt about it. They tasted really good, and I would always want them. I mean, you could get them in like these big packs too, of like 8. Almost like it feels like you're getting a carton. Take a carton of candied cigarettes, please. And basically the findings, was a sample of 25,000, roughly 26,000 U.S. adults who were surveyed You know, this is an online Harris poll, and they're detailed in July issue of Preventative Medicine. It shows that there was a link between a history with fake cigarettes and adult experiences with real smokes. 22% of current or former smokers had also regularly consumed candied cigarettes, while only 14% never smoked, had eaten, or played with candied cigarettes often or very often. So, you know, it really got me to thinking that, wow, you know, it's funny how, well, I don't even want to say it's funny, because, you know, when it comes to cigarettes, the last thing I want is my kids to be smoking, that's for sure. You know, because it's just bad. It's a horrible habit, and you know, and believe me, it was hard to quit, no doubt about it. It took me, I mean, I smoked for well over 10 years. I mean, the start from high school to, gosh, I can't even remember the year when I quit, but it was a long time smoking, and quitting was the best thing, you know, aside from the financial side of things. But you know, the health benefits was just, you know, really beneficial. So it also got me to thinking about some other things that I grew up with, like McDonald's marketed these toys in Toys R Us, where it was like a cash register, an actual, well, not an actual, but a McDonald's type cash register, where your friends could come and pay for their plastic food, and you know, you could pretend like you were working at McDonald's. And there was also a plastic drive-through that you could get that came with, you know, not an exact replica, but you know, a close enough McDonald's uniform with a little hat, and your friends, you know, if they had a plastic car, could drive up to this little plastic, you know, McDonald's drive-through and pay for their food. You'd give them their food, you know, their plastic Big Mac and their plastic French fries, and you could pretend like you were working at McDonald's. You know, so it kind of made you feel like, you know, it makes you feel like, are they recruiting for future employees, smokers, and gamers? You never know. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, favorite, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one.